That first cup of coffee in the morning. For most of us, it's an important one. For some of us, it's the most important part of the day. But with the overwhelming wealth of options, how do we choose a cup of coffee, and how has that choice changed over time with each new generation? It is no coincidence that the rise of coffee to mass consumption in America took place in tandem with industrialization. Quick energy made people more efficient when time was of concern. Folgers, now one of the largest coffee brands in North America, filled this need. Finally, any person, despite the lack of knowledge or skill, could brew a cup of coffee.
If I could just make a decent cup of coffee, I could relax. So, relax. Why don't you try Instant Folgers? Tastes good as fresh perked. Good as fresh perked. I'll surprise Harvey for his birthday tonight.
Hey, great coffee.
It's Instant Folgers. Doesn't it taste good as fresh perked?
Better.
Better than those girls make at the office?
Honey, their coffee can't hold a candle.
Today we see evidence of a new era. Changes in branding, advertising, and the workforce highlight a growing emphasis on individual creativity and dispersed knowledge. It is the postmodern era of coffee consumption.
Kind of a different thing. And I think this is a maturing of what started in the mid-70s, which is better quality drinks, more care all along the way of the process.
No matter how good of a person you are, if your coffee sucks, they'll come and support you a couple times, but they're going to go to where coffee's good. Understandable, so would I.
For Folgers, information about the brand was minimalized to the vague promotional term mountain grown.
Coffee is mountain grown.
Mountain grown?
Like the sign says, mountain grown for richer flavor.
However, all Arabica coffee beans must be grown at mountain altitudes. But in the modernist era, Folgers' uninformative but catchy slogans were enough to garner customer loyalty. By the early 70s, it was the brand itself, that familiar icon on every street corner, that garnered consumer trust. Today, with the rise in independent coffee shops, such as local Boston coffee shop Barismo, marketing has moved in the opposite direction. As branding becomes modest, knowledge is dispersed. Information on the source, farmer, trading practice, roasting and flavor profiles are widely available, leaving the choice up to the consumer rather than the brand.
What we've grown into is definitely really organic, a lot of word of mouth. It's something that I've had conversations with people and just kind of trying to figure out how to even approach it, but I think there is more of an interest for like local roasters, which I think is great. There is a lot of smaller roasters now that you're seeing, like, you'll go into shops and you'll see a couple of different coffees from different roasters that are maybe our size or probably a little bit bigger, but not that much. And it's like there's a lot of them starting to pop up. So that's kind of interesting. I think like the branding, when you're looking at some of that stuff, it's like now you've got a little bit more competition, but it's pretty healthy competition, I think.
The postmodern coffee era is evident not just in advertising, but in the workforce as well. Over time, barista creativity and knowledge have become integral to the development of the industry. The clearest example of this is the rise in so-called latte art. This decor on the drink becomes a barista's signature of skill and knowledge, as well as personal style. Craft roasters and cafes pull their espresso shots manually. Coffee is poured by hand rather than by automated machines. The power to make a good cup of coffee rests with each individual employee and varies with each as well.
People came in and said, I want Woody to make I want Susan to make my drink because it came out so well. So but there was none of us. I want to say we hardly knew what we were doing. So I think as a as an art or even a profession, it hadn't gotten to that extent. But no, absolutely, it's essential to the whole thing. It's absolutely essential.
Because when it comes down to it, like a lot of what we're trying for like Microlabs is it's like experiments really. Like we're not sure sometimes like this varietal at that elevation or with different soil. So we like to try a lot of different experiments, and having producers that are willing to let us do that and spend time there is how we can get like interesting coffee for other peers like baristas and other like coffee professionals. I feel like we do have a lot of respect in the community, and I think our customers who've gotten to know us recognize that and definitely respect like our what we have to say about the coffee. Some people might come in and not really know where we're coming from or have a different kind of experience with coffee, and I think we speak from a place of confidence about what we're telling them, so they usually will just trust us anyway.
With its emphasis on individual creativity and widely dispersed knowledge, this postmodern coffee era has resulted in an increase of accessible, quality-made brews. Yet, this movement may merely be a manifestation of larger phenomenon of this era.
So it's the desire, again, I think a human desire of the American public to improve their food culture, which had disintegrated over the years. Everybody lost the origins and the mass marketing of food. The supermarket mentality destroyed the food culture. There was really no food culture except macaroni and cheese boxes and that kind of thing. So now people want to go beyond that, and there's really a recreation of a new food culture. And coffee is definitely right in there.
What began 50 years ago has created a platform for continuing innovation by both customer and barista, and has propelled forward a revolution in the ceramic cup.